I think Eric will like this question.
Uh-oh.
We have Alabama Fisher of
Really
Men
like it?
on YouTube
Okay.
asking, are there any accounts known of pirates wearing a kilt? Also, are there any famous or infamous, should I say, Scottish pirates?
Piracy is not my strong suit. There have been, I know, this is a good stumper. I like this question because I can't really answer it very well, which means I get to go read stuff. There have been a couple of times when lithographs have shown up from the 17th century or early 18th century where it looks like someone on board ship is wearing what seems to be a kilt. Most of the time, it turns out that basically what you're actually seeing is the voluminous fabric of the coat that was in fashion at the time. Either the not the doublet, but the coat that was being worn, or occasionally it's a Turkish coat. It's something, it's just a flamboyant piece of clothing, or it's artist interpretation. Was there tartan on the high seas in the Caribbean? Almost certainly somebody had some, because it, even if it's not as kilt, plaid is a popular fabric. Scottish pirates I cannot address. I do know that a good number of the famous pirates in the 17th and 18th century were from Ireland, or of Irish extraction. I'm sure there were some Scots also, but basically the maritime tradition of Ireland, as well as economics, led to a lot of people winding up in the West Indies and becoming buccaneers, and then later on pirates. So yeah, I'm sure there's some names that I don't know. Most of my knowledge of piracy comes from a really cool podcast called the Pirate History Podcast, which I highly recommend. There's more data in there than I could possibly remember in 1,000 years. Really, really good podcast. But yeah, there's definitely an Irish connection to piracy. I'm not so sure about a Scottish one.
If you guys know any cool pirate podcasts or anything pirate book related, tag it in the comments.
But there's no strong evidence of somebody wearing a kilt in the West Indies or anything. Like I said, there's some pictorial evidence where people think, hey, it looks like they're wearing a kilt, but it's just the coattails of what they were wearing being bunched up around a weapons belt or something like that.
I've never heard of it, so I'd say if it happened, it was by far the exception, not the norm. So there may have been a random Scottish dude who happened to own a kilt who was on a particular pirate ship, but I would not say it's
the thing.
Normal.
It defies my personal sense of logic in it, because the
wool's not
exactly suited to the Caribbean. Exactly, and it would not last very long under those conditions. They wound up wearing very little clothes most of the time, just because of the heat and everything. So linen pants and a shirt.
Yeah. They probably smelled great too.
If you all smell the same, you don't notice so much. That's what they say. But yeah, it's a very good question. It makes me curious if there is anything, but I don't think there's much.